All right, folks. Happy Sunday afternoon. Let's make sure this is tied in there. Okay. So we've got a couple of trains that we just got done putting the pieces on. We finished our Iron Ivan this morning. And we're going to do these two. One of them has the BFG on it that we made out of brass tubing. And then this one has a minigun and a couple of heavy machine guns on it. So we're gonna airbrush both of these. We're gonna prime them. That's what I forgot to do. Is I forgot to get freaking water to make the mix. Well, let's see if we can get by with just using alcohol to clean it. Let's fire this thing up. Went shopping and didn't put things on the list. And when you make a list and you don't put things on the list, those things that are on the list don't get bought. At least for me. So you gotta remember to put things on the list or they don't get bought. All right, let's... That's interesting. It got loose there. Let's see if this is clean enough. So normally I would put my thinner, in case we use a little bit of alcohol. And we should be able to, we just used it yesterday, so we're going to press down. Shouldn't have any liquid if we don't. And as you pull down, you get liquid coming out. Excellent. All right. Put that away. Take a swig of it. Nope, not going to do that. All right, let's put our body cavity search glove on. Yeah, I know, you're going to be loud. We're running a lot of PSI on this because it's primer. We're going to use the Still Res primer from Badger. It's Badger's primer. Mix this stuff up. And we're going to use the special Krams formula for fitting. All right. This is a mixture of several different things. And we're going to use about 70-30 is what he recommends. So we're going to try to put a little bit of that. Try not to overshoot this. I always waste so much. It's thinning plus tip dry. It's really the tip dryness is really the magic, I think, of what it does. All right. And you want to put the mix in there first. We got one that's got a little bit less black in it. And this one just let's start with a fresh sheet for you guys. And for me, we're in it together. All right. So make sure it's spraying okay. Yep, a little watery. Let's tone this down to about 30 psi. That's much better. Okay, we can get some pretty thin lines in here. All right, and we're going to do the hard to reach places first. We'll flip it over. You want to do the hard to reach places first because the easy to reach places, you're going to actually get to them without too much effort. Now these are for Gaslands. Like I said, they're not really trains. They have wheels. Just think of them as heavy trucks with a train body kit. So these ex-cons, actually, ex-con means they're almost like they're currently not a criminal. These guys are current criminals. These current criminals on these teams on this particular team, have a fetish for being a train, you know, being Casey Jones or something like that. I should do like Chat GPT that like make up a backstory of why these guys drive train looking things. Well, the reason they drive train looking things is because Hot Wheels makes them, and I'm like, they look pretty cool to use a team of vehicles, but that might be interesting to see what it comes up with. You're spraying really thin. The nice thing is you can just, you know, you don't have to worry about, oh, it's too hot, it's too wet to handle. No, you just go around, give it another coat if it needs one. Now, one of these things, it's really hard to see whether or not you have a design that looks cool, because look at how many different colors are on here. Like, you need to desaturate that. Start with like a blank palette. In my case, I use black. I have for 30 years, probably. I think ever since I primed, because I used to not prime. You know, I used to be a kid and not prime things. I didn't know any better. We didn't have the internet. Ever since I primed, I got talked into it by Games Workshop, and Games Workshop at the time was promoting priming in black. That way if you've got something, oh, deep in the shadow or the recesses of something, it's going to be black. And I kind of paint in a layering type way anyway, so it's conducive for that. Yeah, see, this is already looking better. Has a uniform appearance. Besides Iron Ivan, do you have names for the others yet? Yes, but I have it inside. This is full. I'll be right back. You made me do it. You made me leave. Coming right back. I'll get my notebook. Okay, the one with the big cannon is full bore freight. This is full bore freight. And this one, we're temporarily calling it Norfolk and Waypal. Okay, I have, one of the trains is going to be called that. I don't know if it'll be this one. Okay, but this is full bore freight. I have another one that's just like this, and I tried doing a cover earlier to cover it, and it's fighting me. So, you know, sometimes when things are too much trouble, just move on so you have something successful. You know, I didn't need two of this particular model. It just kind of came, and these are all out of production. So if I don't use it, I might just use it for spare tires or something like that, you know. I needed to cover it because this one, I don't know if you can tell on here, but there's a bunch of little turbos on it. Yeah, you can. They look like a bunch of little hair dryers, but they're little turbos. So the other one is just like this one, which is kind of unique to have like a bunch of turbos on it. So I wanted to cover this so it doesn't have all the turbos, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to do it. I can do it, I just don't know if it's worth the effort. So we can make that determination later. You like full bore freight? That was a Chat GPT recommendation. Full bore freight, yep. Well, it's a huge bore. I mean, you know, it's like, it's a BFG. It's like, boomba. Plus, okay, so, because you weren't on here, heavy truck, smoke, ram, murder tractor. So same as Iron Ivan, okay? Has a BFG, so that uses up 3 of the build slots. It has the headshot skill and the loader. Loader means you can reduce the crew by 1 and get a +1 to hit. Headshot means critical hits cause 3 hits instead of 2. So it's going to fire 10 dice once. It needs to definitely get audience votes and to be able to do a reload. Okay? So it has 1 shot with 10 dice. They're all going to be +1 to hit. But 6s are, you only get criticals on 6s. But if you get a 6, that's 3 hits on the guy. And it has a heavy machine gun. Forward firing. But the problem is it's as slow as a dump truck. Oh, it has nitro. Does it have nitro? Did we put nitro on? It has nitro. Okay, so you'll be able to blast the nitro once, but then it's a heavy truck speed. So, you know. Oh, that's what BOR stands for. Okay, that makes sense now. The thing reminds me of the giant cannon the Ottomans used against Constantinople. There you go. Well, the problem with it is there's a lot of trains that the adjective iron would go with. And part of it is because, well, the rail is made of iron. There's a familiarity with the name iron and train stuff. Like I said, these aren't trains. They're just heavy trucks with a train kit on them. You know, these guys have a fetish for being, you know, Casey Jones or something. I don't know. I'm probably going to see if I can find a good reason why that is. But the good reason is that Hot Wheels makes these sons of bitches. And I think they're going to look really big. I mean, Iron Ivan, I fought with it yesterday, putting all the parts on it. I actually glued my fingers together, which hasn't happened in 30 years. Just fighting with the materials of getting the stuff on. And was kind of like a bummer, honestly. Until this morning, it started getting painted, and it turned out spectacular. It turned out really a lot better than I expected it to turn out. So, that's always good. Thought I was going to have the third thing in 10 years happen that I wasn't happy with. But nope, only 2 have come in that I've been disappointed. What's up, Brian? Yeah, it definitely looks like an Ottoman gun. See, it already looks better just having it all in one color. You know, it's like when you build things out of Legos and you use every single color under the sun, it doesn't look right. And this may end up being that these vehicles aren't really competitive. That it's almost like a scenario where you have to chase these guys down. You know, like they're almost like they're NPCs or something. And that's okay. You know? That's okay. They look unique. They look different from any of the other vehicles. And, you know, and it makes sense. Now, Iron Ivan is also going to be a Russian vehicle. I don't think this one has a second home, so to speak. Now, there are some similarities between this and especially the cabin and say hillbilly. I was going to say hillbilly hand grenade. No, hillbilly hacksaw. You know, it has that kind of like that, almost like the Munsters car. You know, something like that. Hot roddy. But if there's anything, it'd be like some Confederate looking thing, but I don't know that we're going to go that route. All right, let's flip this guy upside down. And man, there are all kinds of bright ass colors down here that we need to get them to chill out. How are we doing? We used about half of it, so. The question is, Hoffman, which has been your favorite vehicle? And I don't have a favorite. I've got a couple that I'm not a huge fan of. There we go. I don't know if I have an absolute favorite. I try to get excited for all of them to keep me motivated for your own stuff. Talking about making a Gaslands Tank 1, and that's the one I'm looking forward to. What's up, Justin? Sorry I had to switch venues, but, you know, we'll come out here and paint. Gaslands Tank. Well, I'm going to have Boombox Carnage is going to have a Black Panther. I'm going to use a Panther turret that I have and put it on something that isn't a Panther and isn't a World War II tank also. And I think that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be mostly black. I don't think the whole thing is going to be black because it's freaking boring. So maybe we'll do black with a little bit of some kind of camouflage that you wouldn't normally see on a tank. Maybe like gold or some shit like that, you know. And it's going to have well, I don't know what it's going to have, but that's probably going to be the first Panther I got. I almost picked up a little taco truck. Not a taco truck. Well, yeah, a taco. It's a car that's in the shape of like an actual like big chalupa, which is stupid, right? But you can make it work if you do it right. I mean, I might be able to work that as like the body of like a Mexican tank. You know, it'd be the taco tank. But I didn't pick it up. I should do something with a hot dog first before I start, doing all kinds of food groups. It's bad enough that I don't like songs that sing about food. I don't know about tanks that are based on, have nutritional value. I just didn't feel like making the cards for the tanks, for the vehicle today. Imagine something like a tankette with a short, fat barrel. Well, the tanks, I think, are 45 points. They're really expensive, and they're really slow. I would have loved to put tank tracks on Iron Ivan, but tank tracks reduce your gearing by 1. Its maximum gearing is 3. Like, you can't have a 2-gear vehicle. Like, 3 is bad enough. 2, not playable. You know? 2 is just not playable. Unless it's for some kind of a scenario where it's doing some kind of demolition or whatever. But I did pick up 2 other vehicles today, of course. They were new for 2026, so. One of them was a New Mexican lowrider truck called La Troca, which, you know, I'm not going to call it that. A 50s style kind of lowered truck, and a 66 Toronado in red with stripes. Can't have too many muscle cars. Tanks had a vehicle class in the game that I know the tracks slowed you down. Well, like for instance, if you add tracks to a vehicle, so you need to add tracks to a vehicle that is like an ambulance, for instance. My grader has tracks added to it, but it started off as an ambulance class vehicle, which is a 5.2. So the tracks reduce 1 gear, but they add 1 skid dice. Well, they add 1 maneuverability dice. So instead of being able to go up to 5th gear, but only maneuvering 2, they now maneuver 3, but only go up to 4, which is reasonable. That's like 1 better than a truck. Truck is a 4.2, but it uses up a build slot, which isn't a problem on a heavy truck. You got plenty of build. You got 5 build slots on a heavy truck, so that's normally not an issue. But all these vehicles are in the 50s. They're in the low 50s. Say 52 points for all of them, which is the same thing as the Butcher. This thing has a ton of nooks and crannies. Yeah, the tanks have like, they can take a lot of damage. I want to say it's 20. It might even be more than 20, but they're fairly expensive. I'm just going to use this stuff straight. Let's see what happens. And living life on the edge. And you get like 1 turret weapon for free. I think. Something like that. You can have more weapons, they just won't be turreted. Something like that. But it's funny, some of these builds, you're like, man, it's taking forever to do it. And then you start painting it, and the next thing you know, it's done. Like, wow. That was like really quick. Now, the only reason against calling this one Norfolk and Waypal is the skull on the front. But there's nothing else I can think of putting up there. And it needs something there, even if it's just like a light or something. So, yeah, they look a hell of a lot better now. Just all in one color. That's what happened to your kaiju. I've never did that before, but I was filming it, so it kept me motivated to push through. Oh, you filmed it? Got a PDF bundle and haven't read much of it. Yeah, it's, like, I wouldn't have read any of the book unless I was, playing it. I know people that get rules and read them all. I'm like, rules is just a way to have your toys, do something with your toys on the tabletop. Like, I don't want to build something that's not usable in the format it is. So I need the rules, but I know there's some people that just they collect rules and read them all. Well, you can read them all, but you're not going to understand them until you play the game, I have the rules on PDF and the physical rules, and the PDF is handy because you can you go in the back of like the price of something, and there'll be a link on it to go to the special rule for the item. Not all the time, but frequently there are. Like, you'll go and, hey, how does exploding rams work? And it'll tell you like right there, so you can click on it. It takes you to that other page. So, we got one train that's green. One of these should be red. The other one should be blue. I'm thinking. I guess this one could be black. It's got a skull lance. It can't be super friendly. I have a feeling this one should be blue. Dark blue. Something like that, but I'm not sure. So, we gotta let this dry anyway, so that's when I'll go offline and see what we can come up with. Not really necessary to do that with an airbrush, the painting part. We're supposed to play on Tuesday. Just Mitch and I'm not going to film it, Yeah, these are all one team. The Russian one could work on a Russian team too, which I have 3 or 4 vehicles for and none painted. But 3 or 4 vehicles. All Mercedes. They're all Mercedes 500s for the oligarchs. Well, they're ex-oligarchs. They're, convicts now. They're condemned. That's what it is. All my drivers are condemned. Dead men walking. Or women, There's women teams. There's women folk. There could be some people that would prefer not to answer. That's okay too. They can be in the death thing too, Yeah, this team is, I showed you the picture of it. Derailed demolition. Derailed destruction, sorry. Derailed destruction. So they're all things that look like they should be on rails, but they're derailed. They're heavy trucks that identify as trains. And I'm probably going to do a build soon that I won't film. I won't film. I'm not going to post pictures of it online. I'll send you a copy of it, Hoffman. You won't get your thin skin or not, but I don't think folks would be able to handle it. Their heads would explode. And I don't think it's anything worse than anything I've done, but you get the panties in a wad. That'll give you something to look forward to. But it's going to be the core vehicle. Is going to be the first vehicle I ever used in a Gaslands race. The actual look of it is the first vehicle I used. So, and it actually won. So a long time ago, 7 or 8 years ago. Not that that matters. It's going to be a different build. I don't even remember what build I had at the time, but that was back when everybody was designing their own vehicles and painting with vehicles they weren't. Honestly, that's not the part. The problem isn't like people coming in, all right, bring your own cars and use them, and people using cars right out of the package that don't have the guns. That part's okay. The part that's a pain in the ass is like, oh, I didn't design my car. All right, let's do it now. And, people don't know how to do it, use up an hour and a half of everybody's time, that kind of bullshit, Dilapidated train yard scatter terrain sounds cool. I'll try not to get offended. It's not going to bother you at all. It's poking fun at everything. So let's give this another dusting on it just to make sure that this is on well. Mainly, don't want it to come off while I'm handling it while it's being painted. I'm just not sure what vehicle type it's going to be. It might be a monster truck. I might make it a monster truck. So. Okay, I think we've got everything that we need to get. So I'm going to have to go in, do some research. See how I want to paint these. Of course, all of this has got turbos. All of this is going to be like, what do you call it? Gunmetal. I might just paint that gunmetal first. We know it's going to have to be that color. Well, not gunmetal, but, you know, metallic. That's not going to dissuade me. Yeah, this definitely looks like a contraption, doesn't it? And I've been wanting to do, you know, I've been wanting to do something with a BFG, but it needs to be something that could, you know, catch up. I don't know if this will work, but it's got to be a heavy truck. And I didn't want to use like the garbage truck. Like the garbage truck needed to have the thing where it dumps wrecks off the back. You know? How much do we have in here? Not much. I need to find that video. I forgot. I always forget what that guy's name is. This will be the third time that I've made this stuff. His airbrush cleaner. So we just have alcohol to use for this. Let's turn this the hell up, big time. Tamales just got here. Got to get going. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by. Tamales was one of those things that I hated as a kid. There's so many different ways of making them, and they would put like raisins in them. And I like raisins. They just don't belong in fucking tamales. The wife's the one that hates the raisins. I don't hate them. They just don't go with tamales. In my opinion. Let's put a little bit more of this. It's got our water brush. Loosen that up, pour it out. Now there is a little black in there, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up and take the needle out. So that next time we use it, we don't have to fight with it. Back out just a little bit so we can rock that, take that out, and push the needle out of the front. See, we still have some blackness there. We're in a little bit of hand sanitizer along it. Melts all that stuff. Put the needle here over in needle land. And I guess we're going to do a deep clean after all. All right. A little bit of hand sanitizer in here. Get all that goopiness out. All right. Ready to rock and roll for next time. Thanks for stopping by, folks. We'll see you guys next time at the other desk inside. Bye-bye.